What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Dragon Cabin. I'm here in beautiful Buena Vista, Colorado for the week. About to head to Crested Butte and do some more snowboarding on some fresh powder. So I wanted to make a quick video of, I've been living out here in my tiny house on wheels, just parking it wherever I feel like in the national forests, at campgrounds, and I think I'm gonna make a series now about just tiny house living and how I do it. So first video I wanted to make is how to use the bathroom in a tiny house on wheels. Very small enclosed space, so it's important to take care of your waste properly and cleanly in a way that keeps your house smelling nice and fresh. So I'll just show you kind of what I've been doing. So if you are a male like me, then you probably will make use of something like this gallon jug. This is a Rain-X jug. I use it 90% of the time when I'm using the restroom. But also if you're a female, you might need something with kind of a wider mouth. So this gallon plastic jar that I got from a restaurant had some takeout in it. That will probably work pretty well for you. And a gallon should do you for more than a day, probably a day and a half. But you should still empty it, as much as you possibly can, just for the sake of smell and not fermenting things in your tiny house. So, yeah, that's pretty straightforward. Let's move on to, I guess, the slightly more difficult part of how to handle solid waste in your tiny house. So this is a bucket seat on a 5-gallon bucket. The seat's like probably $15. I think it's called a luggable loo or something like that. So you'll notice it's perfectly clean on the inside. There's never any waste sitting in it. And the way I do that is you'll notice I've put 4 thumbtacks in there. You could use screws or, really whatever you're feeling. And let me just break this out. So you're going to want to get some of these from your local Petco. This is biodegradable doggy bags with little handles on them. So give me just a sec and I'll open this up. That's what it looks like when you open it up. And then basically I'll set this in here and I'll stretch out the handles. So one handle goes on each of the 2 thumbtacks. I'll do that real quick and then show you again. All right, I got it in there. So you can see each handle is stretched between 2 of the thumbtacks. And you just want to kind of press in it just to make sure it's nice and secure in there. You don't want it falling out. It should be, pretty well seated on each of the 4 corners. And now you're ready to go. So you'll probably want to turn on a vent fan to exhaust the fumes. You might want to, light a candle or something. I like to just burn some incense. And I might fire up my stove as well. Just get the air flowing, get the heat flowing out that vent. Usually I'll run the vent for about 10 to 15 minutes, right? So I've got a little timer on my vent and gas valve. So when you're done, you'll do everything you would normally do, pack it all away in this bag, clean it up a little bit, and then you will take it out and tie it up just like you would your dog's waste. So you want to basically tie 2 really good knots. And then I'll actually double bag this just because I don't want any chance of spillage ever happening in my tiny house. It would be really gross and it would smell bad. So I like to keep it very sealed. And then you'll take this and this bucket seat. Let me see how much battery I got. 5%. Okay. So usually right afterwards, I'll throw this outside. Oh, and look at that beautiful Rocky Mountain view. Beautiful Rocky Mountains. And I'll just leave this out here for a few minutes to kind of off gas. And then I'll store it in a sealed plastic baggie and eventually when I get to taking out my trash, I'll just put that right in there with it. And that way there's never any standing waste in my tiny house. You probably want to do after all that is wash your hands. So move my cutting board, I'll get my clean water over here, get the potatoes out of there. Yeah, and so I'll just kind of get a little bit of water going here, wet my hands, lather them with the Dr. Bronner's, and get them nice and clean. And then once they're all nice and soapy and clean, I'll just rinse them off with some more water and push it down into my gray water tank there. And then dry them on a towel. That's how I do it, and that's how I keep my house smelling nice and clean. Keep all my waste separated and isolated from the inside. And yeah, it's tough making things work in 72 square feet, but you know, you just get creative and you figure it out. One day at a time, one step at a time, one problem at a time. So I hope this helps you and answers a lot of your questions, maybe gives you a good idea of how to go about this in your own RV or off-grid cabin or tiny house or whatever you got. Because, you know, when it's below zero, I think it was -19 the other night, -19 Fahrenheit, and snowing, you know, you don't want to go outside and dig a cat hole. So it's good to have a system in your heated tiny house. It's my little radiator heater. I'm actually warming up my lunch by the heater right now. So everything has a double purpose or triple purpose, you know, in a tiny house. Anyways, I think that's all I got for now. So enjoy the view, and I hope your own adventures and tiny house journey goes well for you. And send me any questions or comments you got. Comments down below, hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next video.